eyes tonight, as you lie back and let your eyes grow heavy, you find yourself drifting into a world that feels both distant and strangely familiar. You imagine the shining figure of a knight, the sort of image that has been painted in storybooks and films so many times that it seems almost real. You see polished steel armor catching the light of a golden sun, a horse draped in colors, and a lance held proudly, like a symbol of honor and strength. In your mind, you walk among them, half believing that you, too, are about to be part of something glorious. You feel the cool breeze as you step onto a grassy field where banners ripple, painted with bright colors and family crests. Children point and smile, nobles nod in approval, and even peasants stare in quiet awe. The knight's world, at first glance, seems like a dream of pure prestige. It feels like you are entering a story where courage always wins, where honor never falters, and where every sword stroke leads to fame. But as the vision lingers, your thoughts begin to slow, and the details start to blur. The shining armor that seemed so bright in the sun now feels heavy, as though it is pulling your shoulders down. The smile of the watching crowd fades into the background, replaced by the quiet strain of the man inside the armor, sweating, breathing hard, and wishing that the weight could somehow be lifted. The dream of knighthood is not so simple, not so golden, and you begin to sense that beneath the outer image lies a world of hardship. You imagine yourself standing at the edge of this world, curious and cautious. You want to step closer to the knight, to feel what it is like to wear that armor, to hold that sword. You reach out, and suddenly the polished plates are no longer on display, but strapped tightly to your body. They pinch at your joints, they creak with every step, and they press against your skin in ways that feel far less romantic than you expected. The horse beneath you is powerful, yes, but it shifts and stumbles, and you realize that riding is not effortless. It is work, constant balance, and constant focus. Your dream now feels less like a fantasy and more like a memory you never lived. Whisper of the truth of the medieval world. You sense the expectations surrounding you. The knight was never free. He was bound to a lord, to a land, to a code of behavior that was sometimes beautiful but often impossibly strict. You feel the eyes of your master on you, waiting for you to obey, to fight when commanded, to kneel when asked. The shining image of glory is already dimming, and the longer you stand in it, the more complicated it becomes. You drift further into the thought. The knight, after all, was not born into armor. He was shaped by years of service, of obedience, of doing chores and training until his muscles ached. The child who dreamed of honor had to wash boots, polish weapons, and clean stables before he could even think of battle. And even then, the promise of glory was thin. For every tale of a knight winning a tournament or rescuing a maiden, there were dozens of days filled with nothing but duty, boredom, and the slow grind of medieval life. Still, in this drifting dream, you hold on to the shine just a little longer, because dreams are slow to let go, and so is the myth of the knight. You imagine the sound of trumpets echoing over fields, the glint of sunlight across rows of armor, the proud faces of men who believe they stand for something larger than themselves. For a moment, you let yourself enjoy the beauty of that idea, because beauty has its place even when it hides something harsher. And so, lying there, your breathing slow, you hover between admiration and doubt. You are learning slowly that being a knight was never just about the polished metal or the songs sung in their honor. It was about weight, both physical and invisible, the weight of armor, the weight of expectation, the weight of loyalty and cost. As you drift further, you prepare to follow this path step by step, from the child who dreams of knighthood, to the young servant learning discipline, to the armored figure trudging through mud, to the weary veteran looking back at a life that was more sacrifice than glory. You are not rushing, you are moving slowly, as if in a half-dream, because this is not a tale of excitement. It is a tale meant to carry you gently into rest, one truth at a time. The shining knight you first imagined fades slowly into shadow, but the story has only just begun. You continue to drift deeper into the life behind the armor, and soon you find yourself stepping back into childhood, long before the polished steel and the battlefield. You are no longer the knight in shining armor. You are a small boy, perhaps no older than 7, standing nervously at the edge of a grand hall. Your parents have brought you here, not for comfort or play, but to hand you over. From this moment forward, your life will belong to another household, another lord. The decision is not yours to make. Sons of noble families were often sent away, placed in the care of wealthier or more powerful lords. You feel your mother's hand slip from yours, and the warmth of home fades quickly. You are now a page, a servant in training, and every part of your day will be shaped by the needs of others. The dream of knighthood begins with obedience, not with honor. You wake at dawn, still half a child but already burdened with tasks. You carry water for washing, fetch wood for fires, and scrub tables after meals. When the older boys or the steward call, you run. You are taught not to answer back, not to linger, not to complain. You are learning discipline in its most basic form, and although you dreamed of swords and shields, what you hold now are brushes, buckets, and platters. Yet between the chores you glimpse hints of the life you hope for. In the courtyard, you watch older squires practicing with wooden swords. You hear the clang of steel as knights drill nearby, and you feel the pull of it, as though your future is being hammered into shape just out of reach. Sometimes, if you are lucky, a kind instructor lets you try lifting a small sword, too large for your hands but heavy enough to make your arms tremble. You swing once, twice before being told to return it. The ache in your muscles stays long after, a reminder that strength must be earned slowly. Even meals are part of your education. You learn to serve at table, carrying plates to your lord and his guests, bowing low and standing still until dismissed. But while you stand behind them, you are also watching. You notice how knights sit, how they speak, how they gesture with authority. You are absorbing not just manners, but the codes of behavior, expected from someone who will one day be tested by both peers and superiors. Every gesture, every word is training. At night, when the hall quiets and the torches burn low, you sometimes feel the loneliness of being away from home. You think of your parents, of the fields and the familiar voices you left behind. But in this world, you are expected to toughen quickly. Tears are frowned upon. Complaints are punished. You whisper your worries into your pillow and let sleep carry them away. Years pass slowly and your body begins to change. You are no longer the small child who carried buckets. You are taller, stronger, and your tasks begin to shift. You are ready to move from page to squire. The work does not ease. It only grows heavier. As a squire, you become the shadow of a knight. You polish his armor until it shines, oil his sword so it does not rust, and tend to his horse with constant care. You clean wounds after battles, bind bruised arms, and watch carefully as he trains. You run beside him in the lists, hand him his lance, and pray he does not fall so hard that you cannot lift him back to his feet. The knight depends on you, and though he may not always thank you, he notices if you fail. In return, you are allowed to train more seriously. Wooden swords give way to blunt steel. You learn to mount a horse in full gear. Your movements clumsy at first, then steadier. You practice holding a shield, feeling how it pulls your shoulder down, how it rattles with each blow. You stumble, you sweat, you fall again and again. But each time, you are told to rise. A squire does not stay down. Your hands toughen with calluses. Your back stiffens from carrying gear. You grow accustomed to bruises, scrapes, and sore muscles. Pain is not an exception, it is the daily language of your body. At night, as you lie down exhausted, you tell yourself that this is the path. Each aching joint, each punishment for mistakes, each long day of labor brings you closer to the title you crave. And yet, even now, you sense that knighthood is not quite the dream you imagined. You see the weariness in the knight you serve. You hear him groan when he removes his armor, smell the sweat that soaks through his padded tunic, and watch him wince as he rubs at old scars. He is not the flawless hero of song. He is a man carrying burdens that you, too, will one day inherit. Still, the dream holds you. For every hardship, there is also pride. The day you finally manage to stay on horseback while wearing heavy mail, the cheer of your fellow squires fills you with warmth. The moment your sword strikes true in a practice bout, and your instructor nods in rare approval, you feel a spark of triumph. These moments are small, but they keep you moving forward. And so, you drift with the years. From page to squire, from servant to apprentice warrior. You have scrubbed floors, carried weapons, cleaned wounds, and bled in training fields. Your knighthood is still ahead, but already you understand it is not built on glory, but on labor. It is a path paved with sweat, bruises, and the quiet endurance of countless unseen tasks. As sleep holds you gently, you see the young boy you were, standing once more at the threshold of the hall, watching the dream of knighthood shimmer in the distance. Now, though, you know better. The dream is not handed to you, it is earned with hardship every single day. You have grown through years of service, and at last the moment comes when armor is no longer something you polish for another man. Now it is strapped onto your own body. At first, the sight of it fills you with excitement. Gleaming plates of steel, chain links that shine like silver, and a helmet shaped like a crown. It feels like stepping fully into the dream you once held as a boy. But the dream quickly turns heavy, literally heavy. First time you put on a full suit of chainmail, you realize it's not just a shirt of metal. It is a net of hundreds of tiny rings, each one pulling at your shoulders. The weight presses down like a wet cloak, dragging against your movements, biting into your collarbones. You shift from foot to foot, expecting to grow used to it. But every motion reminds you of the burden, and this is only the beginning. The squires and armorers bring out the plate's next breastplate. Back plate, greaves for your legs, then braces for your arms, gauntlets for your hands. Piece by piece, they layer them onto your frame until you feel like a walking tower of iron. The sound is constant, clinks, clatters, rattles with every small step. You try to flex your arms and the plates scrape and slide against each other. You bend your knees and the metal pinches at the joints. Your own body feels distant, trapped inside a cage. The helmet comes last, and when it is lowered over your head, the world shrinks. The visor closes and suddenly you see only a narrow slit of light. Your breathing grows hot and damp inside the confined space. Sounds come muffled and echoing as though you are underwater. For a moment, panic flickers through you. What if you cannot breathe? What if you cannot see? What if this suit that is supposed to protect you becomes your prison? But you stand because that is what is expected. The weight is crushing, and yet the nights around you move with it, accustomed, hardened. You take a step forward, then another. The ground feels unsteady, your legs shaking with the effort of carrying not just your body, but nearly 100 pounds of metal strapped tightly to it. You remind yourself that this is only practice. In battle, the exhaustion will be doubled by fear, by mud, by blood. You remember stories told of knights who drowned in shallow streams because their armor dragged them under. You remember warnings of men who fainted from heat inside their helmets, unable to remove them in time. Armor is protection, yes, but it is also danger. It guards you from a blade, but it demands constant strength in return, into rest. Training becomes your only way to endure. Day after day, you mount horses in full gear, learning how to balance your new weight. The horse beneath you shifts uneasily, for it too feels the burden. You practice walking, running, lifting your sword with armor pressing against your shoulders. The sword that once felt heavy as a squire now feels almost impossibly awkward, as if every movement is slowed by the plates that bind you. At first, you stumble often. Your foot catches on uneven ground and the armor clatters as you fall. Rising is its own battle. Without help, you sometimes roll to your knees, push against the ground, and fight against gravity just to stand. Each fall teaches you how vulnerable a knight could be, even inside this supposed shell of invincibility. And yet, with time, your body adjusts, muscles thicken, steps grow surer, and what once felt unbearable becomes part of you. You learn to breathe in short, steady rhythms inside the helmet. You learn how to swing not with speed, but with control, letting the weight of the weapon and the strength of your arm combine. The armor never becomes light, but you begin to carry it as if it belongs to you. There is, however, no denying the toll. At night, when you peel off the layers, red marks line your skin where straps rub raw. Your shoulders ache from the endless pressure, your thighs from lifting each step in mail, your back from holding upright against the drag of steel. You soak in water, rub oils into sore muscles, and sleep as deeply as exhaustion demands. Each morning you wake, the cycle repeats. You begin to see that the nightly image, sung in ballads never mentioned, this side of things. The armor in poems shines. It does not suffocate. The knight in paintings sits proud and tall. He does not stumble in mud or groan while rising. Reality is weight, labor, and constant strain. Still, you cannot dismiss the feeling of transformation. When fully armored, you no longer look like yourself. You are not the boy, not the servant, not even the young squire. You appear as something more towering, faceless, unyielding. To those who see you, you are the image of strength, even if they cannot sense the sweat trickling beneath, the plates or the fatigue in your muscles. The armor grants presence even while it takes comfort away. In quiet moments, you sometimes remove just the helmet and stand looking at the suit. You study the dents from practice, the scratches from wooden blades, the places where the polish is dulled. You think about how this metal, heavy and unbending, will go with you into battle. You wonder whether it will save you or whether it might trap you forever beneath its weight. Both thoughts linger as you drift toward sleep, because in the end, the truth of the armor is not glamour but burden. It is the constant reminder that to be a knight is to live with weight upon your shoulders, upon your body, upon your very breath. And as your eyes close, you feel that weight pressing down, not to harm you, but to lull you deeper into rest. You have trained, you have endured the crushing weight of armor, and now the time comes when the lessons of practice are tested in reality. The call to battle has reached you, and with it comes the moment every squire once imagined with excitement. Yet when you step onto the field, you find that war is nothing like the dreams. Ground is not the clean, level earth of the training yard. It is uneven, churned by countless boots and hooves, and the soil has been soaked with rain. Mud clings to your greaves, sucking at every step, pulling you down as though the earth itself wants to hold you still. Your horse struggles as well, slipping, stamping, its nostrils flaring as it senses the tension in the air. The sound is overwhelming. Trumpets blare, drums pound, and voices shout in every direction. Orders are lost in the chaos. Men yell for God, for their lords, for their lives. The clang of steel meeting steel echoes like thunder, sharp and endless. You try to focus on one sound, one signal, but it all becomes a blur. And you realize that war is not music, it is noise, deafening and relentless. You grip your sword, your shield raised, and the first clash comes before you are ready. A man rushes at you, his face hidden beneath the helmet, his weapon swinging fast. You block, the impact jarring your arm all the way to the shoulder. A blow rattles your bones, and for a moment you nearly drop your weapon. But training guides you. You push back, strike once, twice, your movement stiff but determined. The man falls away, and you step forward again, though your heart is pounding so hard it feels louder than the battle itself. The mud deepens as bodies fall. You trip over shits that lie motionless, some armored, some not, and you learn the grim truth that battle does not pause for grief. You cannot stop to help, you cannot kneel to comfort. To slow is to die, so you press forward, each step heavier, your armor soaked with rain, your breath harsh behind the visor. The smell reaches you next. It is not the scent of polished halls or grassy fields. It is sweat, blood, wet leather, smoke from burning wagons, and the iron tang of wounds. The air feels thick with it, as if you are breathing in the very essence of struggle. Every inhalation carries the weight of death, and every exhalation feels like a prayer to survive a few moments longer. Your horse screams as arrows cut through the air, sharp whistles ending in dull thuds against shields and flesh. You remember the glory of tournaments, the way lances splintered with cheers all around. Here lances break against men who fall silently, swallowed by mud. You feel the difference deep inside. Tournaments are games, but this is hunger, desperation, and fear, all mixing in the mire. Really meant. Your body grows heavier with each passing hour. The armor that once felt manageable now seems to double in weight. Sweat soaks the padded linen beneath, stinging your skin. Your legs ache from lifting out of mud again and again. You raise your sword and the motion feels slower than it did that morning, slower than you need it to be. And still, the battle continues. You glance around and see men lying in pools of red, others stumbling with broken arms, others clutching at wounds that will not heal. The songs and legends never spoke of the screams, cries from others, the gurgling breaths of those who cannot rise. The poets called it honor. You know now that it is simply blood and mud swallowing strength until none remains. Even victory feels strange. When the enemy finally retreats, you stand among the wreckage of the field. You expect a surge of triumph, but what you feel is exhaustion. Your shoulders slump, your sword drags, and your ears still ring with the endless clash of steel. Around you, men do not cheer. They slump down where they stand, some dropping their helmets, some dropping to their knees. The field is not a stage for glory. It is a graveyard that has not yet been cleared. Later, when you remove your armor, the dents and scratches tell their own story. Each mark is a reminder of how close the edge of steel came to your flesh. Your body aches, your skin is bruised where straps dug deep, and your muscles tremble from overuse. You soak the linen padding in water, watch the dirt and blood run dark, and you realize how much of battle lingers even after it ends. At night, as you lie down, the noise does not leave you. You close your eyes and still you hear the clash. Still you see the mud rising with each step. Still you feel the weight of bodies pressing against you. Sleep comes, but it carries dreams of the field dreams where you stumble again and again, where the mud pulls you under, where the cries of the fallen echo endlessly. And so you begin to understand. Being a knight was not a pageant of shining armor or endless victory. It was standing in mud, lungs burning, body aching, blade dulling, heart thudding against the fear of death. It was surviving, nothing more, nothing less. As your breathing slows now, the chaos fades, replaced by stillness. The battle grows distant, like thunder moving away, leaving only silence. And in that silence, you drift deeper into rest, carrying the truth of what battle really